and this has got to do with the devastating earthquakes that struck Turkey and Syria. And according to the latest official reports that have come in, more than 37,000 people are now said to have died in the aftermath of these earthquakes. Now, this is since a week that the disaster struck, and the death toll is likely to go up even further. But the rescue teams, who are now working tirelessly day and night to try and look for people who could be trapped underneath the rubble, they are now saying that their focus will shift from searching for survivors to delivering humanitarian aid to the hundreds of thousands who have been affected. The need for such assistance is more dire, especially in Syria, where the efforts to deliver aid have been hampered because of the sanctions that have been imposed on Syria by the West, especially the United States of America, because of the war that is ongoing. On Monday, the United Nations held an emergency meeting on how to boost aid to help the rebel-held areas. The country's President Bashar al-Assad, who is under Western sanctions, has called for the international assistance to help rebuild the infrastructure. And according to the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Assad has now agreed to open 2 more border crossings from Turkey to Syria to allow in aid. And this came after Turkey on Monday had offered to open the gates under its control.
Bu dönemde uluslararası topluma ve BM'ye Kilis'te 2 tane şu anda bizim kontrolümüzde olan kapı var. Bu kapıdan da insani yardımları gönderebileceklerini söyledik. Yani insani yardımlara bu kapıları, mevcut açık olan kapıları insani yardımlara da açabileceğimizi, yani kullandırtabileceğimizi söyledik.
Now, the announcement has come as a sigh of relief for more than 4 million people who presently live in the rebel-controlled areas of northwestern Syria. So far, all of this aid was in fact being channeled through just one conduit, namely the Bab al-Hawa crossing. But after the meeting of the United Nations, 2 more gates from northwest Syria will be opened. And these are the Bab al-Salam and also the Bab al-Raim. And Syria's ambassador to the United Nations has also reiterated the country's commitment towards supplying relief material to the rebel-held areas.
I also affirmed that northwest Syria is an integral part of Syrian lands, and that our people there are part of the Syrian people. And Syria will not accept that they be divided based on lines drawn by terrorist armed groups. Based on that, Syria supports the entry of humanitarian aid into the region through all possible cross points, whatever from inside Syria or across the borders, for the period of 3 months, to ensure the delivery of humanitarian aid to our people in the northwestern Syria, which is part of the disaster areas designated by our government.
But despite the fact that it's been more than a week since the earthquake struck, there are these stories, completely miraculous stories of people still alive underneath the rubble who are being pulled out. But with 7 days having elapsed, the possibility of getting survivors out is now dwindling. The fear is that most of the people who are still trapped underneath the rubble would have died just simply out of hypothermia, frozen to their deaths because of the extreme cold weather conditions that are prevalent at this moment in Turkey and Syria. While those who have survived this tragedy, they are facing an acute lack of water, poor sanitation, in addition to having been rendered homeless. And also our correspondent Ghadi Francis, who's been tracking the story very closely for us from Syria, has sent us this report. Listen in.
As the building is being destroyed, tens of people stand watching their homes, their memories, their lives changed within mere seconds. These buildings are in danger of collapsing, and they have no choice other than to stand here and watch them being totally destroyed and then think about another home for their future. This is how dire the situation is for all these people around me. I'm standing in Al-Salhin area in Aleppo, one of the worst hit areas after the Turkey and Syria 7.8 magnitude earthquake. This is WION, World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.